Right, Shalom Israel. Quick video. Um, Giving all praises always to Yahweh by Shem Yahawashi by Shem Rakakadash. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to the brothers teaching word for the hopeful elect. I just want to mention this book. It's called The Art of War. It's a good read. It's by Sun Tzu. If I'm saying it right, I think the T is silent. Double check on that. But you see here's a bust of him, and he looks like I'm pretty sure he was a Jake, man. Of course they always take credit and cover up Jake's history, and of course there's different busts of him that looks, here's another, but this is a more of a clay, and here's another one. Then they got this cartoonish, more of a flabby, more bite looking. But as you dig in history, this is, I think, they got him mainly as this, as they illustrate in these photos mainly. But I think the actual cover of the book, I don't think it has an image on the cover of the book. But they have some of them without his beard, with his beard. Let me read one of his quotes. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. So if you read, I read it, and I read it, I read it every now and then. If you read it, it has a lot of spiritual references, That's why I say when we, as, we read, if we read other books, we always relate it to the scriptures. Scriptures are foremost. These books, if you go into certain books, you can just spit out the bones, if you will. And then, a lot of these books coming from men that write like him, even illustrated in movies that reference the scriptures or some moralism, it all stems from the Bible, the influence of righteous men. Even going back to people like Gandhi, Mother Teresa, all them people. So, it kind of reminds me of Paul too, because he said he talks about the warring in his against the laws of his mind. Talks about him being knowing how to be abound in the base, and those are war tactics, man. That's kind of like an art of war, because a lot in this book it talks about how when to strike, when to pull back, how to overcome your enemies with less physical force and more mental strategies and all that. You know, there's even different strategies in boxing and martial arts. And they had this one dude, I remember, he did a video about, he was just jabbing, nothing but jabbing, didn't hit the guy that he was sparring with, he was just jabbing. He jabbed so much that the dude got tired, that where he got, his opponent got so tired he could just punch him with one shot in the stomach, he was out. So there are the different techniques, kung fu, jiu-jitsu, and all these styles of and arts of fighting, taekwondo and all those things. And some brothers are more, more knowledgeable and more hands-on with that too. Well as Pastor Har, you got the elder brother in our camp, Barack, he's into martial arts and those things, and a few other brothers, you know. But like I said, it's a good read, and you relate it to the scriptures. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, he was a Jake. They got several different pictures. You know, I think brothers have even said we known the Bruce Lee to be an Israelite. You know, by the Spirit. You know, which we always go by. It says, try them by the Spirit. You know, foremost. You know, Spirit is the ultimate judge. You know, and a lot we didn't need really before this dispersing and all this. We didn't really have to do that. You know, we were like the more we dispersed and more we spread out and just separated from the Most High, it became really difficult to know who was who. But even in the scripture, it said the Most High knows who's His. So no matter where you are, what land you're in, what state, what you know, how far you are from Israel, or even you know, from men of the truth. If you just by yourself in another, that doesn't mean that you couldn't be or not an Israelite or part of the elect. So just getting that out the way. But anyway, um, you know, these scriptures remind me of. It says Romans 7:23, but I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. So that's the first thing a man must recognize is a war within himself. You know, because let's say you got a war with your opponents or another sect. It's an all-out war, and you're divided. Your house is divided. Is the moralism is down. You your children. You're not so close to your children or your wife or something. You know, we're really talking about men when it comes to war. But I'm just saying, those elements in your house could bring you down for not, to be unprepared, to not be fully in war mode. And this whole truth is a war, basically. That's why it says, gird up your loins, put on the whole armor of the Most High, that you may, withstand the days of evil, paraphrasing, and dodge the fiery darts. So, you know, that book, references a lot. And like I said, it's ultimately the scriptures, of course, but, it's not even long, I don't think it is, It's just a good book to read, and as you read, of course, we'll always go back to the scriptures and say, oh, yeah, that's, because they, a lot of these men that have books like this, like I said, make movies that reference these kind of things. It goes back to they've been knowledgeable somewhat of the Bible, you know. Even that James Cameron movie, Avatar, which was a lot of dynamic to that, to where you had surrogates, you had people invading as a disguise, being disguised as a ally. You had the spirit, the spiritual people versus the machines. You had decision making in the midst of war, in the state of war, and those are very um, very important decisions, especially when all your land and your family is at risk. Um, like I mentioned a lot about the Gadites when they went to war, it was decision like, I know we're going into war, and you got to tell your wife and your children and the whole land, basically, your people, that hey man, it's going to get real tough and grimy, and we're faced against a fierce enemy. And that's what the Most High warned us of that too in Deuteronomy. He said, if you don't follow these statutes, commandments, that all these curses shall come up on thee, even the curses of your enemies that he will send against us, in hunger and thirst and nakedness of all things, desolate and without you'll be without spirit. You'll be have a yoke of iron upon your neck, and you shall be you know despised and cut down and sick and things of that nature. You know, um, so you know when the storm comes, when troops come, when these enemies come, there has to be a war strategy, and it's already within the spirit of Yahweh or Yahawashi. It's in these scriptures. These scriptures are basically a sword in war, a defense in the state of war. So that was to be recognized of Israel, because they don't. A lot of Israelites don't. A lot of our people don't think we're in a state of war. They think this is going to blow over. So-called white man is somehow going to give them housing and give them a better place and opportunity, and that in some pockets of the earth you're able to get as far as you can and rich as you can. That's all going to blow over, man. But I don't want to make this too long because I'll start rambling, man. But anyway, that's a good book, Art of War. Like I said, I think he was a Jake Sun Tzu, if I'm saying it right. It's different pics of him, busts of him, got a beard. He kind of looks like, in some of the pictures, he looks like a Jake, mixed with more bite. And you see right here on this one, they kind of chopped his nose, which they were doing in the iconoclasm, days of iconoclasm, where they were defacing images of Jake, coming into the Renaissance, the rebirth of Rome, and even some today too, in different situations, different analogies, that pertain to them covering us up and holding us back by imagery and things of that nature, and racism as it's called today. So just a little, let me read one more of his. If you wait by the river long enough, the bodies of your enemies will float by. So different things like that, and even a lot of brothers, every now and then put Bruce Lee up and they quote one of his commentations or whatever it's called, his words, and you can find this throughout all nations. If there's any kind of moralism spoken about, that they don't even have to be a part of Israel. They don't even have to be Israelites, but for the knowledge, being just knowledgeable of certain, moral ways, and inclined to know some kind of moral way of living, they'll mention it every now and then, and they'll mention it or whatever. But it all comes from the Bible, man, because this is the standard of creation. I mean, this is like the blueprint of creation by Yahawashi. This starts from the beginning, Genesis. So yeah, man. Anyway, to the next video. Hope it was edifying. Shalom.